This is Cindy from Boise Creative Living. Another project I touched on in my seed starting video just to show you what I do in this room. That's kind of an all-purpose room. My little extra second bedroom that I almost didn't get has really been nice. So I am working on an old book project. I do sell some old antique books on eBay, but some just don't sell. They're just not in good shape or valuable, you know, for a couple bucks. I figured I'll tear them apart. So I am working on that. It's kind of something you could just keep coming back to because it takes a few coats of white paint or gesso to cover the covers up. Or some covers I rip off, some I leave on, some I take partially off. Do all sorts of things. Get creative.
I haven't glued this on yet, but you kind of get this. Some of the books just aren't going to sell online. They're not attractive. They're not valuable. So I ripped covers off that were in bad shape anyway. And I've seen this online on a lot of decorative stuff where they'll bundle some books together. They're kind of deconstructed, but you can glue things on. You can decorate them. This one here, I left the cover on, and I'm just gonna make this one kind of look old, do a little antiquing on it. That'll be part of a bundle. I'll probably do a bundle of like white with a little touch of gray. These will be the tan colors, and I have various stencils, glues and paints and ribbons, so I'm gonna see what can come of those. I finished the outside of this book. I glued on a little embellishment. I used some pearlescent paints and my stencil and just a little dabs here and there. But when that picks up the light, it's really pretty. I put a little black antiquing on it. A lot of that gets rubbed off. And I'm doing in the inside, I figured this would make a nice book to make the little book safe out of. And then I will glue some ribbons onto each side of the covers in here that can tie shut. They look really pretty. I just had this, which I use for painting. It gives you, it's like a viewfinder, but it was just the right size to make my little box. So if I go back to where I left off, I just have an X-Acto knife. I'm just kind of holding it in place. And I even use the rounded corners because I think that'll give a nice effect. When I get deep enough, I'll use some glue to keep all these pages together. But you just keep trimming out. There's a hinge on that side that's rough, so I just flip it over here. And as you get a little further each time, I'll actually end up with some squares of text. I'll stick them away somewhere. There might be a use of them. Just little bits for a background of scrapbooking or something that might work nice. This is the other book I did, just leaving the covers like that. There's no covers at all on it. And I took this off part of the title page inside and glued that on. And I found another book I'll work on. I'm still debating on whether the cover will stay on and get painted like this one was. And as a decoration on some of these, I want to whitewash some berries and leaf things that can tie on with some jute. And actually, instead of white paint, and for the books also, I used white gesso. Just do have a lot of this stuff, and it gives a nice chalky finish, something like the milk paints do. And it's what I had on hand. And it has the ability to be sanded down lightly to change your texture or to bring out some weathered details on the books. And I'm just, might take a couple coats. This stuff has pretty good coverage too. So, I'm liking that. It's not something you need to be really neat about. We'll just let those dry a bit. For my antiquing, I have a glaze. It's actually designed to glaze like a gold leaf type of thing. But that was something I picked up at Goodwill and have on hand, and it does a nice job. It's just a black, but it has a little bit of transparency to it. Here's another one in progress. It's kind of, I put glue on top of the gesso. It's kind of bubbling up weird, but I want texture, so that's okay. I'm fine with that. Here's my antiquing mess. I've been using this clear, basic, all-purpose glue. I kind of like that. And this one I'll do a little more antiquing and whitewashing and find something decorative to put on it. Work in progress. This one turned out interesting. I had one coat of gesso and then a coat of this clear glue, and I put the other coat of gesso on and it crackled. Awesome. I didn't know that glue would do it. It's a nice surprise. This is how it looked with the second coat of gesso with glue in between the coats. And I let the glue dry. Each coat dried. So I'm just rubbing some slightly diluted tan paint on there, because I'm thinking I want it to go with that bunch. So I want it to color coordinate, so I'm working on that. That's awesome though. So I'm just dabbing on. It's drying up a little. The paper towel's slightly damp, so I just rub that. And it kind of leaves it down in the cracks a little. Then I will add a little bit of a brown glaze on top of that to give it a little more antiquing, a little more depth. I'm liking that effect. How awesome. On this book, I actually used the inside of the cover. I just flipped the cover over. After taking that off, I decided to use that design. But it was kind of cute. So I just painted this to match that other one. I have that standing up. One of the things I've accidentally found was handy was this letter holder to hold a book while it's drying, if I've touched up the spine or anything and I want that to dry. I'm pretty happy with the results. And that one will go with this book. I'll stack these together and tie them and maybe find something to decorate that with. And I'm going to work on making a stack that has some green on, because there's some green I can bring out from that. And I'll paint the spine or something on this book. And then this one, actually I could do a stack of 3. I did more antiquing on the spine of this one. And this one I think I'll keep separate as the little book safe. I have to glue some more pages together. That almost stuck. I'm working on gluing these, so I'm going to put something on this and put some weight on it. Yeah, I think a stack of 3 here. I either have leather or I have some brown jute. I might try that, or hemp twine, which is really strong. Or I have the jute.
maybe the natural jute on here. I'm getting to the point where I can wrap up one of these stacks of books. I cut a strip of burlap that I have going this way. Yeah, that's what I want. Here I go again, no plan. Yeah. And I just want to glue that with a little hot glue. Thanks. There we go. I'm surprised my glue gun even worked because I've had this for probably 15 years. Crazy. It works, but it takes the oval glue sticks. It's kind of a cooler temperature. So I may not find any refills. I'm just gonna turn this over on here. And my plan is to wrap some of my twine around the books several times. Let's see the best way to do this. The challenge is trying to keep the stacks of books together while you do this. That'll do the trick. So I have a little burlap strip one direction, and I want a wide band of the jute twine going around the other way, and then I can glue some decorations onto that. I had painted this a tan color. This is going to be the front edge you actually see. There we go, I like that. Wouldn't that be cute, just sitting on a shelf? You could do it either direction. You could have it up like that on a bookshelf. Whichever way you want. And the books can slide still to make it stand up that way. Actually, I think there we go. That's the way it should go. Sitting on a bookshelf. And there's the finished product in a bookshelf, so you can see how that works. I like it. It's kind of a neat effect. And for this book, the one that I've antiqued here, I glued some fancier ribbons. They're just glued right inside the cover. Once that dries, I'll tie those together. We'll see how that looks. And this is the one that has the little cutout for the book safe. So at first it looks like an ordinary book. And then you have a little cubby in there. It's probably 1/2 inch deep. It's pretty difficult to cut. So there we are with the bow on it. And that could sit on a shelf. Nobody would know. You have a little hiding space in there. Put a little cash in there. Or mid-sale money. Thanks for joining me on another project. This was kind of a fun one. Just something I felt like doing. And not too hard. And not a lot of money involved. I think I just bought the glue. I was out of glue. Everything else I had on hand. Oh, I did buy more jute because I had used it in my garden. So that one's done. All right. Thanks for joining me again. This is Cindy from Boutique Creative Living saying bye for now. Please like, subscribe, all that. Share with your friends if they might like it. Thank you.